So I've got a bunch of random questions about this machine from different people, and I figured I'd just make another video going over those details. Now this one's going to be a little more in depth than my last video, going over some of the software and some of the other little things that people have asked. So let's get started. So one of the questions I've got is these reels are held in with this rod that goes to the center of them, and somebody wanted to know, well, what happens if you pull the rod out? Do they all fall out, you know? Well, luckily not really, because they have these little guides there, and there's some on the back there, if I can get it to focus. Sorry for my camera work there. And so while it is a little delicate, you can pull it out without them all falling over. And then you gotta be careful when you slide it back in. Just carefully slide it back in. So you don't have to necessarily worry about them all just falling out if you have to, you know, replace this reel, for instance. You can, you know, delicately slide it out, replace it, slide it back in, and you don't have to worry about them falling out. So one of the things you have to deal with this machine, and I pointed out in my last video, one of the only kind of complaints or points of pain of this machine is this peeler system is very finicky. And basically these idlers have little friction rings inside of them, which they give you a couple different packs. These are different thicknesses, so basically different strengths of friction for gripping strength. So occasionally you might have to pull one of these off. There's some screws on it. You take those out, then you can slide that little ring out and replace it, or, you know, mix and match these different rings to get the right friction right. But in order to get these off, all you have to do is oops, I just dropped it. There's these screws here that hold this in. I already unscrewed it just so I can easily show you. And you slide that off, and then those just slide out the hole. So in order to do this side, you have to take that off. If you want to do the other side, there's one on the back. It's the same for the other side of the machine. The only annoying part of this is if, like, you wanted to change the friction ring on this one, well, you got to take them all off. But it's not too bad. The very first time I went to do this, I thought maybe I had to, like, disassemble most of this, but it's actually pretty simple. One question I've gotten is, how exactly does these peelers work? And it's a little hard to explain, but maybe it makes a bit more sense if you see it in action, so I'm going to attempt to make it actually move. So I'm going to go to feeder setting. You can select the different feeders here. So all these have different numbers on them, up to like, up to 52. These are the different steps through here. Let me hit cancel. If you go to flexible feeder, this is like ones that are just out and about. So you can kind of set these up wherever you want. Like I have this tray here that I just set up on its own. And then bulk feeder is, don't know, I haven't used this part. Oh, sorry, I haven't used this part yet. I think it's this type of deal where, like, you can put a bunch of little components, you know, in a tray, and then it'll use the down-facing camera to find and pick them up. But I have not used that myself. So let's go back. Let's go to 10. And hit needle position. And so that's gonna kind of line up, and you can kind of fine tune this a little bit. And needle position. Okay. When you set these up, you basically want the pickup point where it's going to pick up the component to be as close to the edge as possible of where it comes out. Let me get that to focus. You know, you don't want your pickup point to be out here, for instance, because then you have a way more likely for it to knock the parts out. But if it comes out, or you pick it up right where it comes out, yeah, it's way less likely to do that. Okay, so we got those. I'm going to hit pick test. This will not actually pick the part up, which is kind of annoying, but it will come down and simulate where it will pick up at. And it should move the tape forward, but it should only move this tape, and the rest shouldn't, in theory. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to hit pick test. And then it's going to come down slowly on top of, it basically just show you, oh yeah, that's where it's lined up. Okay, that's all there is to it. So what's happening is inside of this thing, I actually have another one. There's a bunch of metal fingers that press up against the ceiling on this thing. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. You can kind of see them there. And that is putting pressure on the tape against the ceiling of this thing. And so it's a fine balance of how much friction is being held. So basically, all of these little idlers down here that we could pull off and replace, all of these have friction rings in them. And this whole thing rotates every single time, no matter which part's being picked. But essentially, if you're, just for lack of a better example, if you were holding on to one, then that would break free and it wouldn't pull the tape forward. But since this needle pulls the tape forward, it breaks the friction and it's able to pull that one. I hope that makes sense. It makes a lot more sense when you have it in hand and you're actually using it. You can see it when you're actually running a part or a panel. But hopefully that makes a bit more sense. I've had some questions about how does it actually pick up the board and know exactly how it lines it, because this machine only uses one fiducial and one component, which is a bit confusing. So, and it also uses a PCB origin, which you can actually see right there. It says origin. So it uses, an XY of 0 or whatever for the corner of the board. Then it uses a component and it uses a fiducial, and that's how I believe it triangulates the board position. But I'll walk you through that real quick. I'm going to select this, go to edit fiducial. So we have select and change component. So it's going to come over. Now you can see how it's not perfectly lined up. That's it's a resistor or capacitor, I can't remember exactly. But you want it to be in the center, and I'm just using the arrows over here to kind of align this. I'm doing this to the camera, so it might not be perfect. Okay, and then you could just hit done on that. Now, for instance, that component is pretty close to the XY origin point. If you wanted to have it farther away, one annoying thing is you can just hit select the component, but it's just going to go to the next one in the list. And so if you're looking for a specific component, you'd have to keep tapping through. You can't just go to one, type in the number and go to it. So let's do one. Let's do this one just for, again, that one's kind of off, but I'm gonna align it here. Okay. We're gonna hit done. And then now we're gonna select our fiducial. So I'm gonna hit move. I can make this slow or fast. I'm gonna make it fast so it moves a little faster. Move it up. And I have an actual fiducial or fiducials that I use right there. You don't have to have an actual fiducial. You can find a pad that's kind of similar, as long as it doesn't have any other similar shapes that are next to it. So get that lined up, hit done, and now that's found something. So this might be a problem. It shows, whoops, I'm sorry, get this to focus. This is what the camera sees. That's the fiducial, and it's picking something else up over here. So I'm actually going to choose a different one. I'm going to do one on the other side. Okay, come down a little. Hit done. Okay, and that one it's only seeing the fiducial. If you were to use just a pad, which let me see if I can just bring it over. So let's say, for instance, you probably wouldn't want to use something like this because it might see that one instead, and if it picks that up, then it's going to shift everything on your board off. I've used things like, I mean, sometimes vias work, depending if you can get it to pick it up right. So that's an option as well. Okay, so another thing we can do is I'm going to hit mount, and that's basically how you would start your run. So I'm going to hit mount. Now you could hit start, and it would come and find the fiducial and then just automatically start picking things. That's usually how you do it. But if you, let's say for instance, you were halfway through a run and something went wrong, you had to stop it and you want to pick back up, or you just want to go to a specific component, how you do that is you hit step. We're going to let it come over here until it finds the fiducial. I just tap the step a couple of times. You'll know you're there when your save light turns green and your align light turns green. And at this point, we can select any of the 210 components that I have on this panel. So it's going to panel 1. Now as you can see, that is not lined up very well. This is something I had to do. As I can understand it, if you shut the machine off, it seems to forget all this stuff, which is super annoying. If you leave the machine on, it doesn't appear to be a problem. But what you can do is go through and manually adjust these, like, you know, make them perfect, and then hit save. Go to the next one. So I generally would do this before especially if I had to shut the machine off. I'll go through and double check and make sure all these are right. Another thing that, and I'm not 100% sure if it's just placebo or if I'm actually seeing this, but all of these are off. But as I go through and adjust them, I've noticed that they all start to get better and better and better, even before I actually adjust them. So I don't know if, like, making all these fine adjustments as I'm going along, it's slowly, you know, rotating everything into position, and so when I get to like the later components, they're basically lined up. But this part's a little tedious, but if you want to have perfect placement, this is what I've had to do. I'd be interested to know if others have had the same problem. So already I'm a couple of components in, and this one's already starting to look a little better. It's not perfect, but you know, we can also do, like, you know, 185, and it'll jump ahead, and this is one of my battery components. So that's how you would do that. I'm going to hit stop because I don't have any paste or anything on this. I'm not going to actually run this, but that's how you would manually adjust those components. You can also edit the individual components. What I mean by that is we're going to edit. These are all the, so there's 15 different types of components. Each board has 21 components, so, you know, there's a couple of 10 microfarad capacitors, a couple of 5.1K resistors, so and so. This is where you tell it, you know, and hopefully the camera's picking this up. I'm not out of focus, but you can tell it what feeder number, you know, so where is it picking this part up at. The mount speed is how fast, you know, is it mounting this part. The pick height is if there's any adjustment you need to make for where it picks it up at. And then your place height is the same. My place height's a little bit lower, is because my boards are 1 millimeter thick. I think this is based off of like a 1.6 millimeters kind of a standard PCB. I might be able to get away with leaving it alone, but I adjusted those. Mode is 1, so it's going to use, you can set this to 1, it'll use the camera to verify, you know, and align the part. 2, it'll do vacuum, it's just the vacuum, so if it comes over and picks it up and it senses that it hasn't picked anything up, then it assumes that's a misplick and it'll try again. Camera and vacuum, it's both of those combined. With the camera, if it comes over and doesn't see the component, it'll come over, discard it, even though there's nothing there, and then it'll try it again. And then big IC is for bigger components. By default, basically the camera, for the normal camera mode on this thing, it's like zoomed in so you can see resistors and stuff. So if you brought a big component over the top of it, it'd cover up the whole camera view. So big IC, it basically zooms all the way out so that it can see the whole component. I use this for my battery connectors and my USB-C connectors because they're a bit bigger. I think the default camera view is like 3 or 4 millimeters squared, and the big IC is 18 by 18. So yeah, we can go through and select these different components. You can add a component if you want. We can do a nozzle change, so like for instance, if you want to pick up a component with a specific nozzle, you can change that in there. But yeah, anyways, this stuff's pretty self-explanatory once you work your way through it. But you can go through and select, you know, a specific component number if you want. You can tap through the component groups. You can change the rotation. If you really wanted to, you could probably fine-tune the, you know, its location. But I don't really mess with the X and Y, but I do change the rotation because particularly on my panels, I've got, this holds 10 boards, but 5 are going to one orientation and 5 are going in a different orientation. So some of these I had to go through and rotate the orientation on them. Okay. A real basic thing is these are all magnetic, all these little stands, so you can kind of put these wherever you want here. Like my little tray for my ESP32 modules, I just stick it here and works well enough. So yeah, basically all this stuff is, the only one that doesn't move is this one. This one's, you know, your origin and it's fixed. The rest of these you can pick up and move. One correction I need to make on my last video is that I said that this machine doesn't have limit switches, and it just comes up and finds the limit with the motor. That's not true, actually. Somebody else pointed out to me there are limit switches, but we think they're either optical or magnetic. I'll try and show you them on the back. So it does have a limit switch. There's the limit switch, and basically what happens is this tab goes in there, and this tab here goes in here, and that's how it knows that it's home. So that is a kind of a little overview of some of the finer details, answering some questions that people had. If you have any additional questions, leave a comment below and I can either answer them in the comments or I can make another video. It's no big deal. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.